So we're going to talk about auditory issues out in the world for you. We were just talking about
babies crying.
in where?
In pediatric offices, and when they play certain TV shows for kids. Those are big auditory issues for me.
Right, so they bother you, and then we thought, wouldn't it be cool if you're in the world and you have auditory issues, if there was a space that was actually soundproof as a good sensory tool. So it's not really it is a quiet room. We do have quiet rooms now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you hear a crying baby in the distance, or maybe a certain type of dog barking, what does that do for you?
Bothers my ears.
What happens to you when you hear those sounds?
I get dysregulated. Like I sometimes have meltdowns sometimes, but not necessarily meltdowns.
Can I ask you, is it actually like painful to
Oh
hear?
yes, it's very painful and makes my ears hurt like they're burning, like they're on fire.
Really? Okay, so that's interesting because I don't feel any of that when I hear those sounds. I feel slightly annoyed, but I don't feel anything like you. So you're feeling it way, way, way more in an intense level, correct?
Yeah, and sometimes I can get dysregulated towards a screaming child. Like I can do certain gestures.
Okay, but the idea overall is, instead of doing that, we have to give you solutions to deal with those sounds. So what are your choices when you have those sounds that hurt you?
Cover my ears,
Cover
get the
your ears.
loops.
Get the loops, put the loops in your ears.
And they look like earrings.
What else?
Stimags, fidget slugs.
Well, you can do all those things, but what about avoiding the sound, like getting away from it?
Getting away from it.
So walk away.
Like, I want to get away from the sound of certain shows I don't like.
Whatever the sound is, whether it's a jingle or a theme song of a show that triggers an old memory, or a crying baby, or a barking dog, or a certain octave.
Or a rooster crowing in the middle of the night.
That would also be
Because
annoying.
speaking of roosters crowing, when we stayed in Joshua Tree, we heard two roosters crowing in the middle of the night at 4 a.m.
Right. So with all of the things we just said, the number one thing you can do is remove yourself from that situation. Get out, go away, walk away. Because there's always going to be those sounds in the world. I've said this before, right?
Yeah.
So you can leave the situation, you can go away, go in another room, you leave the situation. You can use your loops, right? You can cover your ears. You can put your headphones in and put music on to distract you from the sound.
Yeah.
So those are all the strategies we're going to use to get away from the sound so that you can stay regulated, because you have choices, miss.
Yes. Things I like. Auditory sounds I like adults, Lion King.
Oh, those are positive sounds?
Yeah. Disney princesses.
Of course. All right, good job. That's really good.
Disney Channel shows I like. Those are things I like.
Right.
And girl stuff, girl toys too.
Well, not toys, collectibles, right?
Collectibles.
Okay. Well, it's excellent. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
You're
I
welcome.
actually have never heard...
Let's look on the bright side.
Right. But
Not the dark side.
You know what I love that you taught me today just now?
What?
When you were talking about how it felt in your ear, you said it was burning on fire and it hurt. And I have never heard you use those words before. So that was very helpful for me. I can imagine it's painful for many on the spectrum when they hear certain auditory noise.
You know, some people on the spectrum don't like car alarms.
Correct. But in
It
general,
could be painful for them, but not me, but for them, yes, but not for me.
So even within the spectrum, there's different levels of triggering and pain. And then for the neurotypical side is you have to understand what they hear is not what you hear. So you have to adjust expectation.
It's
and
more
understand.
annoying, but for people on the spectrum, it's painful.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing.